Welcome to What the Biz, where we talk about building successful businesses, balancing life, and all the WTB in between. With your hosts, me, Richard Pyatt.
I'm Brigitte Vector.
And I'm Dan Prochko.
What the Biz? Yeah, we're back again. Notice how I said that this time. A little bit like the other what the, it's that same kind of tone. But maybe you say that as part of running your business. You say, man, how do we deal with this? And what about that? Oh, I didn't even think of this. That's what we're here about. Brigitte, Dan, and Richard back on What the Biz. Welcome back, everybody.
What's up?
Hello.
How's it going?
Not gonna lie, rough for me.
Is it?
Yeah, rough. We had an interesting development. I don't know how much I want to share quite yet, to be honest, but let's just say we work in an industry full of clicks where one person makes a major move, a couple others make a move. And so we had a client make a move and took a few other clients with them. So we had a pretty big hit to our revenue stream that has us pivoting right now, all in a positive way, not in a like out of the industry or anything, but just pivoting in a more focused way right now to focus on growth tactics. That's all. So it was out of the blue, which is always the weirdest thing, and no real good reasons, which not that we're entitled to them, as service providers. People, they're owners, they run their business. If they want to change, they can change. We don't really deserve them. It's just frustrating as an owner, as any owner that loses clients, I think understands that. It's because it's like you want to improve, you want to understand a certain point of view and just see why the perception is different, and that way you can align better the service to the expectation or the communication to set better expectations, all of that stuff. And when you don't get the feedback, it's aggravating because you can't. There's no feedback for you to make any changes or analysis on. And so that's the frustrating piece for us right now. It's like, okay, we're focusing in, but we don't have a ton of feedback to decide whether something really different needs to change. So we're still progressing on our plan. We talked a few weeks ago in the beginning of the year, like, here's our yearly plan. Here's the things we're focusing on. We have these automation packages, these website packages and other services that we've put out and everything. We're just focusing on those for this industry. So that's still the focus or the plan. It's just a deeper focus on getting that lead engine back up to where it was, 6-8 months ago, before the holidays and everything. So that's where we're focusing again. So yeah, had a lot of weird stuff happen.
Well,
The
really
ebbs and flows.
Yes, we were just having a conversation about that before we started. Ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. Something like this happens, and you go into a why mode, right? And how do I fix it? Yeah, and you want to know, and maybe you don't have all the details, as you said.
Yeah, I think the truth is there isn't the why. I think we all want that. It's just like, why? What did I do wrong?
Sure.
Me? What did I? And it's not about us. It is about the client. That's the thing about services. It's them. But if you don't, when we don't get to hear, real whys, it's just difficult to realign and reassess. So yeah.
Well, yeah, and when we're in the service industry, you're naturally wired to be a giver and to want to do the best for your clients. So it's natural that we take it as what did I do wrong? And there may not be, which makes it really hard because I feel like we're always striving to do better, and feedback is how we can do better. But if we don't get that feedback, it makes it really hard. So yeah, I'm sorry that you're going through that, but I think maybe those pivots will be, the next silver lining in your business. So that's
it goes back to past conversations. It goes back to the past conversations we had about, like, you open up capacity for the perfect client now. It's just like, maybe they weren't the perfect ones. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't. But the point is now you open this capacity. It's like you can find that perfect client or many of them, to fit that capacity hole. So yeah, so we are out there looking for home services companies to work with. So yeah, anyway.
As one of my
Awesome.
old bosses would say, that's the spirit. Sometimes he said it when it wasn't the spirit because he was being facetious, but I'm not being facetious this time. That is the spirit, the way to look at it, right? It's an opportunity, a new door opening, and a blessing in disguise. I don't know, all those things that we've heard before. But I just want to say, thank you for sharing that. That was vulnerable and tough, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. It is hard. It's hard.
Hmm.
So, but we are here to learn and to share our experiences because we feel like that's valuable for others. So I just want to do that. Like, that's it. I mean, that's why I got into marketing, was to help other businesses succeed. Owners, we're good at what we do, and potentially not the best at running a business, or experts in marketing for that matter, or experts in bookkeeping, or
Yeah.
storytelling, etc. It's if I'm a carpet cleaner and I started my company, like, I'm great at carpet cleaning. Like, I get it. I know the machinery. I understand how to get certain dirt out. I know how to charge my time, etc. Usually, not everybody, but for the most part, and I make my living and I enjoy, people being so excited their carpets are clean again and everything. But the whole everything else, like, how do I constantly grow and everything? Not always an expert in that. So that's why we do what we do, is because people are great at what they do, and we want them to share that all over the place. So yeah.
Boy, I tell you what, I know exactly what you mean. I feel that as an owner, I know what I'm good at, and then sometimes I'm forced to do things I'm not so good at, but it's part of the deal.
Well, and I think it's hard because most of the time when we look at other business owners, we see their success, right? But we don't see the behind the scenes things that are happening. And
Mhm.
I think the more that we share those things as business owners, it makes us relatable, but it also helps others to say, maybe I'm not the only one going through that same exact thing.
Sure.
Um, what do they call it? Like the social media highlight reel, right? Like
Yeah,
it's all
right.
the good stuff, but business ownership is hard. It definitely has its ebbs, its flows, its trials, the excitements, but it's it's not for the faint of heart, that's for sure.
Exactly what I was thinking. Took the
Yeah.
words right out of my mind. Yep.
Mind reading today. I'll
Yeah.
add it to my list.
Bridget's been busy too.
Oh, goodness, yes. We have launched coaching into full force. So it has definitely taken a lot of bandwidth, that's for sure. But I'm loving every minute of it. We are actually launching another 6-week jumpstart program for those trying to get into bookkeeping and accounting. So we're finding a unique niche helping those trying to get into the industry and
Hmm.
sharing what we're doing that has, built us to this level. We certainly are not perfect within our company, but it's a great way to kind of mastermind with others to learn from them too. So that has been a lot of fun. But like Dan, in vector bookkeeping and financial solutions, we've kind of neglected like our marketing for it. So like Dan, we are pivoting and we're just going to make sure that we are continuing to build the funnels within our company while we're also, doing all of these extra side projects to help support other business owners. So we have some of our own changes going on too.
Nice. Nice. On that coaching, so that's mostly cohorts of business owners, and you just do it's 6-week cohort groups, giving them like a real focused hit. Is it like on what they want to accomplish, more like like a 6-week mastermind kind of feel, or?
So our 6-week right now is actually like, here's exactly the tools and resources that we use to build our business. So we walk them through a business roadmap. We walk them through how to price your services and service packages, building out like flat rate packages versus hourly billing when you can do
Oh, so is this
that.
for other? So is this for other bookkeeping agencies coaching? Oh, got it.
It
Got it.
is.
Okay. I missed that. I missed that earlier. Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We actually have two funnels going. So we have like a monthly, just general business coaching that we're doing, but we are falling into this unique, bookkeeping and accounting business world of those trying to break into the industry and build their own businesses. So
Hmm.
we are sharing pretty much everything behind the scenes of our company. So
Well, all I know is I saw a social media post promoting one of your sessions yesterday, and the photo of Bridget was like one of those portraits that they put up in the Capitol of a president, you know? She was all
I'm
very
never using
serious.
that photo again.
Well, you were very serious, and it looked so official. I was like, wow, that is something.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was scrolling and I looked twice because it was one of these official photos, and I thought, well, that's nobody I know. That's a joke. But I realized, oh, that's Bridget. Wow,
Yeah.
that the CEO of Vector Bookkeeping, right there in her presidential portrait.
Presidential portrait.
That's what it looked like. Pretty
Oh, that's
serious.
funny. They missed it in branding then, because I said we are not stuffy, we are not boring, we are fun numbers people. So,
Well, I didn't mean to suggest it was a boring photo because it was not. It was
no,
very
that's funny.
official looking, which was very credible, and I liked it.
Well, thank you.
That's
Yeah.
my point.
Yep.
Well, today's subject is one in which I think all of us can relate, right? The balancing of work and life as a business owner. So you might recall in the last episode, Bridget said she was going to try to shut off and go on a vacation and have no communication with the office during that time. This lends itself to this conversation. You want to talk about how that went?
I'm gonna give a hard punt pass. No, I'm kidding. First off, I will say my team is phenomenal. Like they stepped up to the plate and filled in everywhere that they possibly could. Um, I I love vacations because it opens your eyes to all of the things that you think are great and running smoothly, and then you realize where all of the gaps exist. So
Uh,
while I had a great vacation, it was not a full unconnected reset, which is completely fine, to be honest. I expected it. I went in hesitant, and it really just helps because now we know exactly where to focus for some, additional training or pieces that I've missed and processes that I've put together. So it was really good. And I also realized that I may not be made to completely step away. I miss it when I'm not doing
hmm.
it. I am so invested in my company and my clients' success that I don't like being fully out of it. I don't like fully stepping away. Um, my family would probably tell you that I'm a workaholic, and that's completely okay, but it's who I am. And yeah, I don't know that I'll ever fully unplug.
Were you that way before you started your business? Workaholic?
Yeah.
You
Hmm.
were. Okay.
I was. It's just a whole different level now that it's my own.
Well, I get that. But this was
I totally.
productive. This
Yeah.
was productive. You learned things.
Yes. It has been a long time of me shaping mindset to turn every single thing into a what am I learning from this to make something else better. It's a work in progress, but holy cow, I have been training my brain like crazy on this. I have been living in a world that I don't believe in excuses anymore because excuses just allow you to delay doing things.
Oh my
Um,
God. Could we have a whole episode on that?
yes,
Holy cow.
let's
Anyway,
get on our soapboxes. Yes.
I totally love that. Oh my gosh. Yes. Anyway, go on. I may hit on that in a second, but go on.
Yeah, so it's amazing the momentum that your brain can get into when you start making these shifts, even around healthy work-life balance too. When you start identifying what that looks like, your brain is so powerful. So, yes, Dan, we should do a whole episode on the ignoring excuses. It is actually the intro of I'm kicking off a 6-week coaching cohort today, and they're going to get my soapbox of
Oh, I love it.
I
I
don't need
love it. No.
excuses.
Yeah.
And if
You're
you're
gonna
here for
broadside
it,
them.
you're in the wrong
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, you're gonna broadside them. People like that's your no excuses aligns really well with my thinking on accountability because that's really what it is. It's you hold yourself accountable to what you want to get done. And we're not talking those petty excuses like, my God, I'm just so tired right now. It's 10 o'clock at night. I can't do it anymore. It's like, no, you shouldn't be. You need to rest. You need to sleep. Those aren't the excuses we're talking about. It's like the excuses are like, no, it has to be perfect before it gets out there. Or I haven't quite found exactly the right perfect idea. It's like, no, that's just an excuse. Get out there, just do it. Like you're done.
Yeah.
I mean, there's more to it than that, obviously, but this accountability piece, yeah, it really resonates. I love it. Love it.
And honestly, I think that's why I've come into this place of surrounding yourself with people in that same mindset and being in masterminds. I mean, small masterminds of driven individuals. I mean, I would consider you two in that thought process with me. Like when we talk and connect, I find more drive behind what I'm doing. And um I mean, it just helps you get out of that excuse category, right? It's very easy to fall there, and it helps to get out of it when you're building yourself up in these little powerhouse masterminds.
I didn't mean for that little noise to be interpreted as surprise. What I meant was, oh, that's really nice to hear, is what I meant by that. I didn't want you to think, oh, we're helping you. Oh, okay. That's not what I meant.
Yeah.
So as you like pivot your company, Bridget, because you just said you added, coaching services in. That's a whole other different service level, and like you said, it's toward other bookkeepers in the industry, which is a totally different client set. And being the workaholic, I have that in like quotes, here, workaholic that you are, you're adding more to your plate. So as we talk about work-life balance, how have you just some tips or what are the things that you learned that helped you balance all of that, because it's pulling you in a totally different direction from the team that does bookkeeping, et cetera.
Good question.
That is a good question. Prioritizing things, hands down. Like I utilize a blocked calendar like crazy at this point. And I would say early on in a business, find that key right-hand player. I think we've talked about hiring before. I would talk about it again. Having that work-life balance, you're going to have somebody else that you can rely on to help support your business when it gets to the point that you're losing that work-life balance. And in the calendar blocking, I also block out self time, like for self-care. It has to happen, whether I'm reading a book or I'm taking a walk or I'm doing something. I actually have gotten to the point because that is the first thing I neglect, to be honest, is I don't make time for myself unless I put it on my calendar. So that has been a big component of things. And it's funny that you mentioned adding more to my plate because I've mentioned that we have moved all the kids to homeschool. So not only do we have all of this happening, but I have to maintain that balance to make sure that they're still getting educated.
Oh my.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Actually, they are loving doing things in business. So I'm hoping that it's unlocking some ideas for them for their own life. And maybe we'll have some little entrepreneurs at some point.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
So were
Yeah.
you concerned when you transitioned them to the homeschool thing that they might, like walk into the middle of a recording like right now and say, Mom, I need help? That's a concern, right?
It is, except for they're old enough to know better. So they don't. However, that doesn't mean that there is never times that I'm like, let's take this for example. Yesterday doing a webinar, all of a sudden the lawnmower turns on right outside the office window. And it's like, so yes, everybody being around does add some unique pieces, but guess what? It's real life. We all have real life. We all try to get a work-life balance. We all are trying to do the best that we can in our businesses. We're all trying to live happy lives, and it's real. And I'm real, and that's all that there is to it. So if you hear a lawnmower in the background or a kid bust down my door, it's who I am.
Yeah. Well, over COVID, we saw weathercasters' dogs walk into the camera shot. I mean, they
Yeah.
were working at home and, or their 2-year-old, walked in. It's what happens. It's funny you use the lawnmower example because I was worried about that yesterday. I had 2 episodes to record, and I thought, oh boy, you know what's going to happen? The zero turn is going to be under my window when that is recording, and it didn't happen. So that means it's going to happen any minute. So watch out.
Or I took it for you because it happened for me.
You
So,
did. You
yeah.
did. Thank you.
I will say I need to work on saying no. That is something that's on my list of a need to work on. So if either of you have that on you've mastered that for your work-life balance, I'd love to hear your insights. Or if any of our audience has mastered that, please share your tips.
I cannot be on that list. I'm not. I'm not on that list. So what does balance mean for you, Dan?
Oh, good question. I mean, I think we're going to echo a lot of the same things. It's being able to, for me, step away, but feel like I have solid mental health is really what it is for me. I mean, we say, I said workaholic earlier, that's the term people hear. A true workaholic, which I might be, but a true workaholic, I mean, it leads to a ton of negative health issues, relationship issues, etc. And um, if if the way we work leads to healthy relationships and a healthy set of confidence, self image, etc., that isn't detrimental to others, then I'd say we've got some balance going on. Because there's always work. This is something I was talking with my brother with maybe about a year now. I don't know what he read or what he did, but I swear, like he hit a Buddha Zen moment or whatever as we're talking, and he goes, "Hey, you're never gonna get it all done. Okay, there's always another task. You have to be okay with not doing everything today."
I think that's
And
true.
I was like, younger brother, a wise one, teach me your ways. It was, for such a simple statement. I mean, it's a profound idea,
Yeah.
to be honest. It's something we don't always think about. We have these uh, things we think are so urgent, like me saying at the beginning here, losing those clients, like, this urgency, got to jump in, work 18, 20-hour days to get the marketing up and running and everything. It's like, no, I mean, you can't do that at the detriment of my marriage. I can't do that to the detriment of my own health, etc.
Sure.
I have to bring the team in and have them work on stuff, but then also can't have them overdoing it. There's so many things that, go into it. And it's true, especially with the service business, we service others. There's always the next thing to do. And if not servicing them, then it's marketing ourselves. So it's like, what is that level that we want that keeps everything else healthy? That's how I try to look at it. I'm not good at it. It sounds really good, but I'm really not good at it. It's always a work in progress. Yeah, that's my thought on that.
Here's something that might be a little different than what the two of you have said. I don't have too much trouble walking away at the end of the day because I hit a wall where I've been staring at the screen all day, and my brain is not going as smoothly as it might have been earlier in the day. I'm a bit of a morning person, so as the day goes on, I may get a little more fatigued, so I walk away. But sometimes I walk away and feel badly about it. Anybody ever feel that?
Yeah, the guilt.
Yeah. I should be still working on this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think the guilt is a hard thing to overcome for sure.
I think so too.
Yeah. I think when we're in this, like I said, when we're in the service industry, we're always trying to give or do more or do better or help somebody. And when we walk away from it, we feel like we are missing something we should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you walk away and look back on the day and say, did I do everything I should have? Or did I do everything as efficiently? Did I plan well for tomorrow, the next day?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes you don't feel like you did.
Oh God, never. Oh my God. It's one of the hardest things for me. Like I tend to pride myself at being able to prioritize and focus. But there are so many days where it's just like there's so many days where things pop in. It's like, wait, that's in my inbox today. Wait, that's what's happening right now. It's like, no, I already made a plan. And that's, I think, to the point of what my brother said is there's always work. There's always that thing, and it's, have we, like you said, Richard, then have we set things up right, to where, you know, I get enough done in the time I got to do to where I'm feeling that guilt less, is or none at all because I know I've built things out in a way and holy cow, it's hard to do.
Yeah.
It's hard to do.
Being intentional with time. I
Yes,
like
that's a good way to put
taking
it.
a look of being intentional. So when I look at my day, it's okay, is this going to fill one of my buckets? Is it going to fill a self bucket? Is it going to fill a family bucket? Or is it going to move a needle in the business towards something that we need to accomplish? I kind of prioritize what's important at the time. And if it isn't accomplishing anything in one of those areas, it's probably something I should not be doing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And then you might have associated with that have to work a little harder to divert yourself away from that because maybe you want to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We talked about this a bit ago, about prioritization and tasks and other things. And it's so hard because you run this line of you're working on a task and then you find out something isn't right somewhere. It's like, oh, that needs to get fixed. And you think in your head, I need to fix that now. One, because I found it. And two, because it's making my life a little harder to finish what I'm working on. When really you don't. You can finish whatever it is you're on. It's one of those excuses. You can finish the bridges on. You can finish it without fixing that. Write it down as a project task for later. And it's those things pop up so often. And usually it's all about some little internal efficiency that has almost no impact on a client or your business growth. And so here you go spending hours of time. And I've done this. You spend hours of time working on something. And at the end, you're like, oh, I accomplished something. But then you think about it, and it's like, that has had no impact on my revenue. It has no impact on my growth. It did not make anybody else's life more efficient, really. Maybe like 5 minutes more efficient once every month or something. And you've wasted hours when that time could have been spent developing something that actually generates growth or out there making cold calls or actually doing a webinar. There's so many things that could be done. Sorry, I went on a rant there for a bit.
No, I like it.
I'm back.
I
My
call
fugue
that,
state is
I
over.
actually call that exact thing my undiagnosed attention issues. Like, I swear I get the little things like you were just talking about. Oh, I need to fix that. Okay. I am now diverted to doing that. And it hurts. It hurts exactly what we're
Hurts.
talking about, this whole work-life balance, because when you let all of these things divert you, you're never focusing on what you actually were trying to do. So
Yeah.
I feel like there is probably a statistic somewhere around business owners, and that the majority of us probably have some sort of attention focused thing behind us. Don't
Well, there
quote
is
me, but I'm
there,
pretty
Have to.
sure.
there could
Yeah,
be an
no,
argument. Yeah,
me
there
and my
could be an
wife, we
argument.
definitely think I have attention issues. Me and Jenny definitely think I have something going on, but I've had it one psych test. I'm getting a second one. I'm putting this all out there. I had one. It said I was normal, like pretty much normal in terms of attention deficit and other things. And it's like, I don't believe you. But anyway, that's
Yeah. I think I swear it's a business owner thing. Now I need to do research on that. And I just diverted.
There
So
could be an
See?
argument for what the two of you just described, though, about doing things that didn't really end up meaning anything to the business. It may have meant something to you, which then in turn makes you more effective in the business. So maybe you could look at it that way.
It's true.
Don't encourage these distractions.
Never mind. Well, the last thing I'll say before we go is it's a little fortuitous that this is our subject, the balance of work and life, and the things that affect us. Because I've decided to step back a little bit from what the biz. So in future episodes, you may not hear me, but Brigitte and Dan will be here, and you will hear them, and they are worth hearing, as you've just heard. How many times did I use the word here and all that? Anyway, so I'll be around, and I may be back at times, but you won't hear me as much. And this has to do for me with what we've talked about today, the balancing of things. And I think I need to do a little extra balancing. Some of that has been as a result of um, home life and family demands and things of that nature, which have been a little bit more than normal in the last few months. And so we're going to work our way through that. And then you may hear me again before long. But What the Biz continues, and Brigitte and Dan will be along. And you'll hear me in the next one, and then at some point after that, I expect. And don't be sad, anybody.
We'll hold the fort down until you're ready to come back and join us, and we'll just have you as a surprise drop in
That would
whenever
be
it
fun.
works.
Looking
Yeah.
And I
forward
have
to
no
it.
doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have no doubt that you will. You don't need me in here. You two are pillars here. Richard's just kind of, making sure there's no cracks in the bridge or whatever we're holding up here. I don't know what the analogy is, but I thank you for the opportunity to be here, and I will be back. And What the Biz will continue. And all of these things that we talked about today, did that stir up anything in you? How do you balance it? Work and life. When you walk away, how do you feel at the end of the day? What time is it? We want to hear your responses to this too. Whatthebiz.com, and just to send us a little message, and we are thrilled to hear that. Or on social media if you prefer, just look for What the Biz. We'll be back soon. Thanks for finding us and being with us.